It's day 24. I still have free will and refuse to cut my hair, despite how upset it makes my wife. Today was a lift day. We did heavy squats, and we have a problem today. Today there's a bit of an issue. I got to the gym an hour later than usual, which is just late enough for all of the kids to get out of high school and come to the gym. Now, normally that wouldn't be that big of an issue, but as I'm recording most of my lifts, it is. My gym is really not set up for this type of thing. There were way more people than usual, and your favorite kind of people to see at a gym, lifting couples that take up one of three benching spots in order to do like shoulder shrugs, and you go, what are you even doing with the bench part of this? What's happening? Groups of 7 boys, all with their hands in their pants and the same broccoli haircut. I know I'm now just like a boomer complaining about children living their lives, but that's what we had to deal with today. So our lift didn't go entirely as planned because I'm impatient. It was crowded, and realistically, when I'm around kids, they think I'm like a really messed up fellow student. They think I like have some sort of degenerative disease, and we're in the same grade because we are the same height, if I'm not shorter than they are. So I'm really there's a potential for something happening, right? Because they think I'm a peer. Anyway, we're gonna get into it. It was heavy squats, nothing crazy. Welcome to the channel. I am losing 80 pounds because I'm tired of being tired and sad, and I am recording every day, so it ends up being kind of more like a vlog, right? Because I mean, how many times can I tell you I ate chicken? How many times can I tell you I went for a walk? It's like we're very limited here, so I end up going off script. Every day is very different. Like, comment, and subscribe. Otherwise, I can't tell if anyone's watching. For the love of God. All right, so I'm bringing up the screen here. Okay, all right. Control F. Squats. We're starting with squats. 3 sets of 5, 195. Pretty heavy. I mean, heavy in the sense that a few months ago I was squatting like 95. Granted, in the past, I've squatted nearly 300 pounds. It was a very long time ago. I was significantly healthier. But considering the kind of back injury I had last year, I'm really happy that I'm here. I really couldn't be happier. Looking back on these sets, I've already watched through this, obviously. I feel pretty good about them. We could take a look. If you're thinking that's the same shirt he wore yesterday in the video where I lift, yeah, you're allowed to wear the same shirt twice. If the second time you wear the shirt, you're doing something like lifting. I realize I'm moving the chair and I'm like out of frame. I might not be in focus. One issue with using this camera is that it's not automatically focusing. You're really not supposed to use it the way I'm using it. This is not a webcam camera. Anyway, let's get into it. 3 sets of 5, 195. I felt pretty good about it. My first one, I noticed a little lean forward, which I adjusted in the following sets. It feels heavy, you know. It doesn't really matter how jacked you are. Everything feels heavy. You know, it's 195 pounds on your back is heavy, even if like you could lift 600 pounds. Like it feels like a lot of stuff on your back. Yeah, I'm trying to be super cautious when I'm coming out of the hole because my knees now are they start to kind of try to do this, to go in, to go out. So I'm trying to really focus on stabilizing it. It never feels like I'm losing control. It doesn't feel like my knee is going to like split like a twig, but it is something I'm noticing when I'm really trying to like pressure my way out. Yeah, I'm going low enough. I guess you could see just by looking at me now, I want to say I have a pretty even like torso to leg ratio. Both very small, obviously you can tell. Like even now, even as heavy as I am now, I have a very thin waist, relative to everything else. And I don't think my legs are particularly longer than my torso. I don't think my torso is particularly longer than my legs. I think I'm more leggy than torso-y. I think. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but it is important for the way your body looks when you squat. I lean forward quite a bit when I squat. It's natural to me. It feels natural to me. One thing I noticed while doing these was a hand placement. I have a tendency to place my hands too close together. I try to go wider. One of the reasons I place my hands so close together is just instinctually I feel my grip should always be closer because of how short my arms are. But that obviously doesn't always make sense. Here you've seen I've widened my grip and it ends up making it way easier for me to get the bar lower on my back. And so my squat ends up being a little bit more precise. These got progressively easy. Every set felt easier than the last. You may be able to see in the video, in my fourth set, I just started cracking up laughing because of how light it was, and I was just I'm just a weird. I just get weird. All right, I get weird sometimes. So in my fourth set, I end up like kind of burst out laughing. Look at that. Look at the way I saunter over to the camera. I thought I edited all this out. This is, nobody needs to see this. Look at the stains on the shirt. It's horrible. It's horrible. It looks like I had a stack of pancakes before I started lifting. And why is it all... See, now the focus is all weird and it's all, like, murky. There's, like, the moiring of the lighting. Is that the proper word? It looks like a Surascaro painting. Look it up. Some Caravaggio shit going on right now. All right. Let's see. Sucking in some air like a big old beluga. That didn't seem low enough. It was fine, but it was not great. Okay, I'm bringing parallel. Little lean at the front, right? Fine. Bringing parallel is sometimes... Was that the last set? Dear God. Dear God. Now I want to see myself laugh. You're not going to be able to see it. It's 2. Hey, that was the last set. Was that 5? I don't even know anymore. Anyway, they all felt good. That's the point I'm getting at. Let's rewatch that last rep here. Now, here. Bro. All right. Let's rewatch this. All right, bear with me here. So, today we have a little story to cut this in half, and we're going to have to do a dramatic reenactment of my benching, and I'll get into why in a second. Yeah, it's fine. I am leaning forward, though. Right there. That's a bummer. I am breaking parallel. I could go lower. It's hard, man. My thighs are clearly much longer than the calf part of my leg. I'm trying. A lot of people in the comments have been helping me with form. I'm clearly crowdsourcing my personal training now, so sound off in the comments for whatever advice you have on my squats. I take it all to heart, and I try my best to adhere to it, or I don't. So we're going right to assisted pull-ups. I'm supposed to have a volume bench in here, which is actually kind of crucial because a lot of people were helping me with my bench last week. But what happened was I couldn't record my bench today because I was just absolutely surrounded by, on all sides, I was beset by Zoomers, Gen Xers, Gen Zers, whatever they are. They were skibbity toileting all over the place. They were skibbitying everywhere, okay? They were doing flips. They were looking at their phones. They were only looking at their phones. They were in packs of 6, 7. They were on the prowl, not for anything I could tell. None of them seemed to have any life in them. Their eyes are completely dead. You look at them and they're about to get into a lift and they're completely zombified. So I couldn't, I'm going to make it bigger for a minute. I couldn't record my bench because there was nowhere to put my phone. It just felt too awkward. I've been thinking about just biting the bullet and bringing a little tripod and setting it up and pointing it at myself and bringing the mic and just full on going, fuck it. The reason I don't do that is because it's incredibly embarrassing to me. I find this entire process incredibly embarrassing. For as natural as I may be on the camera, may or may not, depending on your disposition, it's not like, it feels weird as hell. And there's a part of me that's like, God, I can't wait for this to end. For this portion of it, you know? But it was just too crowded. And I get it. I need to get over it. But I've made big steps, okay? It's not like I'm shy. I just don't want to bother anyone. But I also don't want to get into a confrontation. I'm so crazy, man. I'm so crazy. You don't even understand how unhinged I am, dude. So I have to play, you got to learn how to play your cards. So you reach a certain age in life, you go, I know what I'm going to do, and I got to make sure I don't do it. And that's what I do, okay? So I couldn't record my bench, which is a bummer, but I will do a dramatic reenactment. I will tell you, I'm going to fucking put this in here. I hate that I do this. I know it sucks. I know it sucks from like a viewer standpoint. It's a nightmare. I did 2 sets of 10 and 1 set of 8 at 125 pounds. Let me double check that. The reason I did 125 pounds, that's where I'm at for my volume bench. But like retrospectively, it seems pretty high because my heavy bench days, my 5 sets of 3 are are not much higher than that in weight. It's like 155. So doing 10 reps of 125 and 3 reps of 155, the distance between those don't seem dramatic enough. And the form on my volume bench felt like I had taken a lot of the advice in my comments to heart, and it felt great, but I felt like I was missing out on, I was becoming increasingly sloppy because of the weight and the volume. So I think ideally I drop that in accordance to the program set for me, which means next week it would be like 8 sets of 2, but maintain the weight. And ideally I won't show up to the gym this late again because it's like, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. It's utter hell. But look, man, you just gotta. Part of me was like, maybe I should just join these little dudes, little bros, and maybe we could bro out. But then on the other hand, I thought if one of these children says one word to me, I'm going to want to immolate myself. So you gotta do what you gotta do. The bench was fine. It felt good. I felt strong. I was trying to retract my shoulders more. I was trying to turn my elbows in more as advice was given to me. But we're just gonna have to wait until a few days to see it on camera. Or I'll just bring a tripod and I'll go there the moment that it gets really busy and just see what happens. Although I try not to live my life that way. We'll get back into it. So assisted pull-ups, a really nice member of the community. Is that what YouTubers say? Thanks to my member of my community. A guy in my comments who was kind of nice to me said something about my shoulders, retracting them, almost kind of making me think in my head at least about the way I try to retract my shoulders during a bench. So you'll see I did put a good amount of serious effort into trying to get my arms and shoulders into the position I think this person was indicating. And my back is much flatter. That looks pretty good to me. And I'm going very low. I'm at a 69-pound assist. It's very hard. It says 3 sets of 5, but I did 5 sets of 3. I don't know math. I don't know numbers. I don't know words. I don't know how to order things. I don't know anything. I don't know what's going on. So you can ignore the little graphic I put on the screen. So these felt really good. My shoulder didn't hurt at all. I did feel weak towards the end. I didn't end up completing 5 sets. I could have muscled my way through another 2 sets, but my form was breaking down entirely, so I'd rather just alter the assist. Wait. I want to do these things to failure every time, but I am still finding exactly where I am in terms of where that failure is, where it's proper for me as opposed to, I'm still playing with where I should be. It's still early on. It's still just a few months. So I'm willing to drop weights. I'm willing to alter schemes to find that like perfect zone where I feel like I could go up by 5 pounds, or in this case, drop the assist by 5 pounds every week, every 2 weeks. So I'll probably alter this because I felt great in those first few sets with the way my shoulders were and how much I was getting out of them. But I could feel towards the end that I was like really, even after a relatively long rest for me, I was kind of struggling to not, bend and bow and break. And here we are again. I did basic cardio. We're nearing the beginning of the second quarter of the year. If you are someone who's ever had to plan things financially for a business, like for example, a coffee shop or something, which I've done, we're nearing the second quarter. And I will probably make a decent amount of adjustments to the way that I do things. Let's go ahead to the big head mode. I'll make a decent amount of adjustments. I'd like the videos to be different. I'd like them to be better. Realistically, I'm going to get busier. It's going to be harder for me to make them. I want more people to watch them. I want, a lot. I want a lot of things. I would like to do this far more often and be able to give it far more of my attention, but I just can't. I'm not going to stop. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm working on figuring out a way to make these formulaic for me, not necessarily for the viewer, but formulaic in the sense that I don't have, a sort of crippled lack of certainty in terms of what I'm doing on any given day, because there's too many things that I have to figure out in one 24-hour span. Adding what kind of video should I make today to every single day, it's too much of an undertaking. So I think I've mentioned this before, but just for the sake of reiterating, that's what I'm doing. Has this video been like insanely dark the entire time? Let's take a look real quick and just see if I regret it. No, it's fine. So that's where we're at. Thank you again for watching. We crossed 100 subs. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know what it means. I don't think about anything. I don't think about any of that type of shit. And I don't have any plan to. I would like to become better at this, and I would like to do it as like what I do. It clearly suits me to yap, but I can't really approach things on those terms because it is also inherently incongruous with my personality. I don't like selling myself, and I don't like selling things. And I find the format required to succeed in YouTube effectively grotesque, dehumanizing, and moronic. But if you're playing the game, you're playing the game. You gotta do it, or you gotta not do it. So I'm gonna keep doing my best. You know, I'm going to try not to make a video where it's about, like, me benching and then halfway through I'm like, but actually I want to talk about Dostoevsky. It's like, nobody gives a shit about that. I get it. But then I'm still just going to, I can't help but just do what I want to do. I just want to do what I want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. You know? What's better? To me, that's better. When I think of, like, why I watch someone, I don't know. It's different. Everyone's different. You know, everyone is looking for a product or for proof that they want someone to give them evidence or advice, and as much as I am clearly prone to giving advice, what I really want to do is just show you a way to live and be myself. I think that I'm exhausted by the lack of options people have, young men, young women, in terms of who they can relate themselves to on the internet, socially. And I'm definitely not a normal person to relate yourself to, but at the very least, I could try and present myself in such a way that it isn't clear I'm just trying to get you to buy my, like, what is that thing called? The app that people use where you, god damn it, dude, now I'm gonna have to cut this. I'm gonna have to cut this because you're gonna have to see me. Every YouTuber sells one of these. Hold on. Notion. I'm not just like, I don't remember what I was saying. I was complaining about something. I was bemoaning something, right? Okay, nobody's watching now. Now I'm just going off. Whatever, dude. Whatever. Here's the deal. We're in this together. It's me and you. You're gonna like, you're gonna comment, you're gonna subscribe. Everything's gonna be okay. You're going to stop waking up in a state of terror. You're going to stop going to sleep and going, should I have done this? Should I have called this person? Should I have sent that email? Maybe I should have. Maybe I shouldn't have. What's going on? What's next? What's happening tomorrow? Nothing. Tomorrow you're going to wake up and you're going to make coffee and you're going to sit down and then you're going to forget your plan for the day and you're not even going to know where you are and you're going to constantly lose track of yourself and your goals and you're going to bounce from one setting to another and then 3 years are going to go by and you're going to go, I'm in my 30s? Huh? And then you're going to really have bad nights. Is that helpful? Maybe not. I'll try and condense that into a PDF. My wife is calling me. Goodbye.